Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? How you doing? How you been? What's going on? What's good? How you getting it in? Body getting it funny? What's going on, people?
Okay, we talked about this before. We no longer be using those pictures and stuff because as of YouTube has changed, they have the copyrights and stuff like that. So I'm going to use my pictures like I said before, and I want to tell you this story in reference to a transgender woman that's been fired from L'Oreal. And it's something that's been going across, and I want to talk to you about this. And someone just posted this up, and I want to just read this to you. And it says that Piers Morgan clashes with trans model fired by saying all white people are racist. Now, Good Morning Britain presenter Piers Morgan has clashed with the trans model Munroe Bergdorf over a discussion of instructional interracism. Now, last week, the British model, DJ, and activist was dropped from the L'Oreal following a controversy Facebook post. The lengthy post, which has been deleted, reportedly says as per the Daily Mail. Honestly, I do not have the energy to talk about racism or radical violence of white people anymore. Yes, all white people. Because most of y'all don't even realize or refuse to acknowledge your existing privileges and success as a race is built on the backs of blood and death of people of color. Your entire existence is drenched in racism. From microaggressions to terrorism, you guys build the blueprint for this shit. Now, Monroe since claimed that the Mill took her words out of context as she was referring to the white supremacists that were century of the violence back in Charlottesville, Virginia last month. She addressed the Mill, reported that another Facebook had clarified her stance, which can read below. Now, she put this. First up, let me put my words in context. The Daily Mail failed to do so. This rant was a direct response to the violence of the white supremacy in Charlottesville. It was not written this week. Secondly, identifying that success in the British Empire has been expense of people of color and not something that we should be offend anyone in the fact it happened. Slavery and colonialism in the hands of white supremacy played a huge part of snapping United Kingdom. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, it's a long one. United Kingdom and okay, wait a minute. United Kingdom and much of the West in the superpower it is today. She also said, whether allowed or not, in today's society, the lighter your skin tone, people of color included, the more social privilege you will be afforded. Whether that access of housing, healthcare, employment, or credit. A person's race or skin tone has huge parts to play in how you are treated in society as a whole, based on the proximity of your whiteness. When I stated that all white people are racist, I was addressing the fact that Western society as a whole is a system rooted to white supremacy designed to benefit, prioritize, and protect white people before anyone of any race. Unfortunately, white people are socialized to be racism from birth onward. Oh, this is a juicy one. Give me a second to put my glasses on because I didn't know she was going to write a book. Okay. And onward. This is something genetic. No one is born racism. We also live in a society where men are socialized to be sexist, women and socialized in a submissive, gay people are socialized to be ashamed of their sexuality due to heterosexual people, homophobia, gender people, and socialists of transphobia. We do not need to be this way. We are not born this way. Wait a minute. We are not born this way. We can learn to reject it. But in that breath right there, that's kind of like a contradiction because that's what heterosexual people can say as far as, the trans and LGBT people too, but anyway, born this way. We only, okay, let me go back there just way. We do not need to be this way. We are not born this way. We are learned to reject it. We are just educational empathy and open-mindedness. We can unlearn those socialism and live a life where we do not oppress others and see things from other people's point of view. Oh my God. Okay, I almost finished. Okay. When a transgender person of color who has been selected in the forefront at a brand new campaign to combat discrimination, lack of diversity in beauty industry speaks on her actual life experience of being discriminated against before because of her race, identity, and the root and where discrimination lies. White supremacy, systematic racism that big brand cannot simply stand in the thought which are not in the line of ethnic of the brand. If you truly want equality and diversity, you need to actively work in to dismantle the source of which created the discrimination and division in the first place. You cannot just justify clash because you realize that there is a hole in the market and that there is money to be made from people of color who are darker skin tone. The irony of it all is that L'Oreal Paris invited me to the part as a beauty campaign to stand for diversity. The fact that up until very recent, there has been the next to mainstream brands offering black makeup, makeup to black women and ethnicities, minorities, is itself due to racism within industries. Most big brands do not want to sell to black women. Most big brands do not want to acknowledge that there is a huge demographic that is being ignored because they do not believe that there was the money to be made on selling the product, the beauty product as far as ethnic minorities. If L'Oreal truly wants to offer empowerment to underrepresented women, then they need to acknowledge the reason that why women are underrepresented within the industry in the first place. The reason is discrimination and act of punching down from the place of social privilege. We need to talk about why women of color are still discriminated against within the industry, not just as a source of revenue. Racism may be dreaded pill to swallow, but I suggest you force it down quickly if you want to be a part of the solution. Doing nothing does nothing. People live at experience and brand and going to empowerment as a tool to push product on people of color within the least do actually work to dismantle the sources, not thrown us under the bus when comes to the church. At times like this, it becomes blindly obviously that what is genuinely owlish shipped and what is performatively a stand of tolerance and acceptance, but neither can be achieved if we are unwilling to discuss why intolerance and hate exist in the first place. And they put up underneath there, L'Oreal transgender model says all white people are racist, and someone put this Munroe guy is a real racist, not to mention, oh God, anyway. Yeah, so I read that part. I wanted to talk about this because I thought it was, is her point is kind of good, but the problem is, before I go into, I'm gonna read the rest of this. It says L'Oreal. This is at the time. This is what a L'Oreal spokesperson said. Okay. L'Oreal supports diversity and talents towards all people irrespective of their race, background, gender, and religion. The L'Oreal Paris True Match campaign is a representative of their values, and we are proud of the diversity and ambassadors who represent this campaign. We believe that the recent comments by Munroe Bergdorf are at odds with our values, such as we have taken the decision to end the partnership with her. L'Oreal remains committed to celebrating diversity and breaking down barriers of beauty. Her comments have won equal amounts of support and condemning, but once again found her in the public argument of the issue when appearing on Good Morning Britain, always outspoken Piers Morgan took a section of the stands in reference to talking about, all white people are racist. All white people are racist, and basically what they're saying is, that's what he was saying in reference to all white people are racist. So this is what Morgan said. I guess as a straight white male, I am enemy number one. Who are you to make these comments? Who are you calling all straight white men like me these awful things? And it is very offensive, he added. I wanted to come on the show to look. I wanted you to come on the show and look me in the eye. You say we shouldn't be offended by your comments. I want you to explain why we shouldn't be offended by what you say, that all white people are a party of racial violence. Munroe then turned the tables on Morgan, criticizing him for rearranging the debate as far as a person on himself while bringing up past comments he made about women. Some of the things you say are racist. Instead of taking it personal, why don't you think of the being part of the solution? Sexism doesn't come from women; it's caused by men. What she has said, and she continues saying that talk about racism isn't causing a divide. Society has placed all white people in a certain privilege. That means that if you are dismantling racism or helping, then you are part of the problem because that makes you complacent. You need to actually actively work with people of color to put diversity into place. I don't regret my words because I'm an activist. I'm not going to say a bunch of things like people would like. Yes, I said all white people are racist, but that's because they all have access to white privileges. I'm not talking about literally every white single person. As the segment concluded, Munroe urged viewers to ignore the words as far as Morgan. He had concealed that relationships had gotten off the foot. I think that under different circumstances, Munroe, we get on the fly. I think things have just got off to a bad start. Okay. Whew, that was a lot of reading. Okay, this is the thing. And my problem. My thing is this. I understand what she's saying, and I believe a lot of stuff she's saying, but I think the biggest problem that they're having with this, she said all white people, and all white people are not racist. But the thing about it, we know about white privilege, and we get that part, but you have to be very careful with words when you become as far as, and spotlight and stuff. All white people are not racist. All people are not. Just like all black people are not racist, because black can be racist too. Now, let's be realistic here, and Spanish and every race can be racist. But the problem you have to say is say some. Don't say all, because everybody ain't a part of it. And she says, but she don't mean all. But the thing about it is that you said all. And when you say all, you're talking about the mother who has a black baby, so she's a racist. You're talking about the father who has a black child, and he's a racist. You're talking about the woman who has a baby with a black man, she's a racist. You can't say all. You have to say some people, some. It's just pretty simple. Trust me, everybody get it. Everybody understand where you're coming from, but you have to be very selective of your words. When it comes on this type of thing, and here it is, you had a contract with L'Oreal about to make a lot of money and stuff, and girl, you don't fuck with your coins. No shit. Not the money, girl. Listen, I always believe you need to say what you need to say and do what you need to do, but at the end of the day, it's called kitchen table talk. You get with your friends and y'all talk about it, and it is what it is. But when you have a contract and you out there, the contract as far as negotiation and stuff like that, if there's a contract at all, allegedly, but it is what it is. And I thought it makes good conversation as far as, what do you think about this? Do you think she should have said all? Or do you think she should have said some? Because I think it's unfair to put everybody up underneath one umbrella, because everybody's not a part of the problem. A lot of people are a part of the solution, and then we have good people and bad people. Everybody's not bad, but when you get to that platform, you have to be careful with your words. Anyway, I just love to hear your feedback from this, and I want to let you know I love you, and I want to thank you for watching Cast the Ray.